ready to the Canadian summer, where what you need is a convertible sports car. 6-speed manual, rear-wheel drive, 1000 kilos, 181 horsepower. All of this is just a bonus. Yes, you're right. I'm talking about the one and only Mazda MX5. Now, I've done a review of this car thoroughly already last year. It was the RF GT variant. This is a GSP variant, which is like the mid variant with a manual retractable soft top. It does have the sports optional package, which makes it just that much more desirable and the perfect car for the summer. Let's see how this fun little sports car is. MX5 has always been the iconic silhouette. They've maintained it over the years. In fact, I think they're very close to Porsche because they've retained the silhouette since the 90s. This is the ND and it looks very nice. It's got the nice sleek headlights, nice DRLs in the bumper, and the overall dimensions are very small, which are extremely noticeable when you come to the side. It's so small. In fact, I look like a giant. I know I am a fat person, but this makes me look even bigger than I am, but just because the car is so small. In every parking lot, it's probably the smallest car by a big margin. The wheels are part of the sport package, which is a $5,000 option. These are the BBS rims, which look absolutely smashing. If I were to buy an MX5, this sports pack is a no-brainer. It just looks good, and the Brembo red calipers are just fabulous. It complements so good, especially with the Soul Red Crystal Metallic, which is again an option, but I feel like it should be a default option in every Mazda car. It's one of the best looking paints out there, and on this MX5 with the sun out, these wheels and everything, it just looks fabulous. The rear of the MX5 is the quintessential MX5 look. You've got the small tail lights, a very stubby bumper, and very short rear overhangs as well. I think this all just contributes to making sure this car is really fun to drive. You've got some minimal badging. You've got the MX5, the Sky Active G badging, which means this is the Mazda's famous Sky Active technology with the engine. You've got twin exhaust pipes. You've got some reverse lights in the bottom of the bumper. Again, it's a very clean look, very minimalistic, and personally I love the way this car looks. One thing that is different between this car and the RF GT is the lack of the pillars, because this is a proper soft top, so it all just folds down and blends in with the whole silhouette of the car. The RF had those targa tops, like, sort of the structure that stands out, and only the middle part used to fold. This is more of a traditional convertible look, but for practicality, I think the targa is better because that would block out some of the wind noise as well. The interior of the MX5 is extremely functional, practical, and cramped at the same time. You have shortage of space, but all the buttons and knobs make it very easy to go through settings or just play around with ACs or anything, because you do have AC knobs, you do have the rotary knob to control the screen, which is also a touch screen, but only for Apple CarPlay. It's a small screen but very functional. The seats are fabulous. This is part of the sports seats, so these are Recaros. It's a mix of Alcantara and leather, and you do have Bose speakers embedded onto them. It's extremely comfortable, and you do have a lot of lumbar support, lots of adjustments to make sure that you're comfortable driving this car. Since this is the 6-speed manual, you do have a short stubby gear lever as well, which transfers a lot of vibrations when you're driving, but I feel like that just enhances the driving experience. What can I say? It's extremely functional. It looks really good. Just the perfect place to be when you're hooning this small little sports car on your favorite B road. Now I'm behind the wheel of the MX5. It's one of my most favorite things to do. It's such a joy to drive. Let's get the numbers out of the way. This has the 2-liter naturally aspirated Sky Active G engine, which produces about 181 horsepower. This is extremely small and extremely light, so it weighs about 1050 kilos, which is so light in today's world. You really don't have anything else which is so light. 6-speed manual, optional automatic, but I think this is the one to go for. Slot into first and set off, and you immediately realize the low end torque is so nice. It's so easy to drive this car in stop-start traffic. You never have to rev the nuts out of it to make any sort of progress. The engine sounds very buzzy, especially with the roof down. You hear a lot of the engine, a bit of the intake, which just enhances the driving experience so much. The gear shift is pretty precise, but it has a lot of vibrations. But I guess that just makes it much more involving, and you feel much more of the car working around you, which is something people really enjoy. I personally don't mind it too much. It's a 6-speed unit and it can cruise really well at 6th gear, but it's very short geared, so sometimes you're doing very high RPMs at highway speeds. But this car is just about having fun. If you put it down a gear, oh, so much fun just to play around the gear and you come to some corners and it just, wow, it just feels so nice. Like the steering feel is just so top notch, and you can just chuck it into a corner and you can feel the rear adjusting a little bit, but it's so manageable. It's never too much of a handful, and that's what I love about the MX5. You are never feeling like you're gonna die when you're driving this car. It's such a joy, so easy. It's one of the most fun cars I've driven this year. It was one of the most fun cars that I drove last year and this year. It's so good. I hope Mazda just keeps on making the MX5 for eternity. The world needs more cars like this. In conclusion then, the Mazda MX-5. I loved this compact sports car last year, and this year I love it even more. This car is just all about driving. Get in and just drive wherever you want to go. It's so fun. Even in stop-start traffic, it's so easy and so convenient. The low-end torque and everything just makes it so easy. Space is not its biggest USP. It's very tight in the middle. The boot is very small. But this car is not about practicality. It's just about getting in, going out and having a lot of fun with the roof down, the wind in the hair experience. If you wanted something more spacious for a family of 4, maybe even just 2 people with more space, look elsewhere. This is all about compactness, and that's been the ethos of the MX-5, something I truly love. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.